We are out of the Christmas break and getting ready for New Year's. Jordan and I are back with the list. A very surprising victory Monday, which I was not expecting.
It is a victory Monday
It
indeed.
is a victory Monday. We won 2017 against Tampa. I didn't realize how poorly Tampa was playing going into that game. Jordan, going into the game, I was hoping, the best thing for the Dolphins is for Quinn Ewers to look good and for us to lose. We won. The more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Getting a win is not bad, especially because we're not going to get above eighth now, it looks like. But as I thought about it, this win highlighted so many young players that I take this win.
Brett, you and I have been talking about for a couple weeks now that one of the things we'll remember about this Miami Dolphins team is that they played hard all the way through the season.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I think that yesterday's win was a culmination of that hard work because you saw a team go out and play mistake-free football.
Well, until the very end, almost.
But for the most part, we'll say for the most part. I think that young teams need to experience winning. I think that the difference between we could still get as high as 8, in that 8 to 12 range. I don't think that there's a huge difference. And I think as fans of the Miami Dolphins, you always want to see the Miami Dolphins win. So it was fun to see us win. And to me, you deal with the draft position after, but you celebrate that your team, led by a 7th-round quarterback, Mike McDaniel did what we were looking to see if he could do, which is win a game with a guy like that. And I thought Ewers looked good. So to me, overall, I'm happy to see us get out of there with a win.
Yep. And pretty much my attitude going into the year was and continued to be, all I cared about is how Quinn Ewers looked. Because how Quinn Ewers looks, let's be real, our whole offseason is built around how comfortable Quinn Ewers looks and if he does or doesn't look out of his depth. One, it could impact our coaching hire or our coach's future. We'll talk about that Sunday. Spoiler for everybody. 2, it does impact how we approach the offseason looking at a quarterback. And the moment, again, did not look too big for Quinn Ewers. I have his stats up. 14 for 22, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe that is impacted by 2 throwaways at the end of the first half. He looked good, and I don't think people really appreciate how impressive those 2 touchdowns were, especially the first one, which he manipulated the defense with his eyes and got Theo Weiss open.
Yeah, he did. And it was also nice to see, because after the first start, you and I talked about his footwork. It looked as though there was an emphasis on him being a lot more comfortable this week than last week. And I think what you really want to see from a young quarterback is him get more comfortable. We wanted to see over the course of 3 starts if he could get comfortable enough for us to feel like he could compete to start next season, week 1. And I think that it's not that everything's riding on the Patriots game, but you want to see a little more growth over the next 6 days, probably 4 practices before you get into that game. And you see him continue to evolve as a quarterback. Now, I don't think that we're going to completely rule out drafting a first-round quarterback. I don't think we're going to completely rule out trading for somebody or adding somebody if we think the money can work. But I think that Quinn Ewers has done enough to make us not need to panic and just get somebody here to get somebody here. He could be a possible stopgap option. He could possibly be a long-term option. Yep. I don't think the team will necessarily rush it, but I think the door will still be open if they decide to bring somebody else in via most likely trade of the draft.
Yep. It does mean that we don't have, like you said, we don't have to force it. And that was the big thing. It's easy to forget that Quinn Ewers went into last year, or this year really, this draft last season as the favorite to go first overall. That was a lot in my head at once. Sorry about that. But he was never healthy. He didn't look right. He explained why he didn't transfer, but he should have stayed in college another year. He needed it.
Absolutely.
And it's not far fetched to say if he was healthy, he would be right up there being talked about as a potential first round pick again.
Brett, if Quinn Ewers, let's say, would have transferred, and he would have transferred to a decent school, I don't. Let's just say,
Ole Miss.
enter what?
Let's say Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, something like that, or just a middle tier Power 4 school had a decent year, and Dante Moore goes back, and Ty Simpson goes back, and it's this quarter. John Mateer, it has a lot of question marks on what he's going to do, and you're looking at Mendoza 1. Quinn Ewers could be right up there in value because of how weak this quarterback class is. So depending on who stays and goes, I think at this point you at least don't have to force the issue. But I would like to still see more out of Quinn. But I am excited by what I've seen to this point.
Yeah. Now, just because I brought up Ole Miss, like I said, I'm bringing up Trinidad Chambliss's stats. Yeah, he passed for 3,298 yards, threw 19 touchdowns, only had 3 interceptions. Quinn Ewers, I feel confident saying a healthy Quinn Ewers in a Lane Kiffin offense puts up bigger numbers than that.
For sure.
Would you agree? Yeah,
I agree.
Who are some other, like he wouldn't go to Ole Miss because Mendoza. He wouldn't go to Ohio State. I don't think he would have gone to Georgia. I think they were pretty comfortable with Gunnar Stockton.
Like if you're telling me that he could have gone to Miami, would have probably taken him over Beck.
Yeah, Texas Tech.
Texas Tech had Morton, but they might have.
Yeah. If he's at one of those teams, he puts up big numbers. He's right back in the conversation going into this draft as a potential first-round pick. So the talent was always there. It was the health and putting it all together.
You know, and sorry to cut you off, Brett, a school like Tulane, who didn't have Retzlaff until really late in the process, I could have seen Ewers going there. I could have also seen him because Notre Dame started the true freshman in Carr. I could have seen him in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a decent amount of schools out there. But when you look at all those options, I'm glad he's with us because I think we got real value on getting a guy in the 7th round that at worst is going to be our QB2 next year.
Yeah, at worst. And let's be clear. I personally do think the best option for the Dolphins, just with how the QB class is looking, is for Quinn Ewers to show enough to be comfortable for him to be our starter or compete for the starting job next year. But he had to show it. You couldn't just go in blind saying, well, we'll just ride it out. But he's shown a bit, and I like what I'm seeing. You're seeing the zip. The one thing I noticed the last couple of weeks is we're not having the procedural issues getting out of the huddle. We're not having – we had some false starts, but I do wonder how much of that was Quinn, how much of that was just having a different center. So, speaking of the center, Andrew Meyer did look good.
He did.
So, which other rookie impressed you? I know Theo Weiss had the touchdown, but didn't really do much after that. It's kind of funny to say after you have a 60-plus yard touchdown. I thought this was a good game for Jason Marshall.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you look at what that defense did against Baker Mayfield and Tampa. I thought they held their own, and I thought Marshall played really well. Like you said, I mean, I know he's in his 2nd year now, Meyer. He came in, looked good. But I think when you're talking about young players, you have to talk about Quinn Ewers because I like you said, you talked about there were a couple procedural issues, but I don't remember a game looking as smoothly offensively from start to finish this season. And I think that that's a culmination of what he's done. So if I'm giving out a game ball, I'm giving it to the quarterback that won his first game.
Yep. Also, shout out to Greg Dulcich, who got a much deserved touchdown. He's been a find. When we picked him up after cuts, I said, "Oh, that could be a sneaky good pickup." I remember I bought into the hype a couple years ago and drafted him as a tight end in fantasy. He did nothing. He really hasn't done anything since his rookie year, but he's been good. That was a much deserved touchdown, and that was a touchdown where we joke around. Quinn Ewers showed to his superpower on that, and if you saw the all 22 film of it, he threw it way before Dulcich even broke, and there's something to work with Quinn Ewers there, and I am very curious to see how he does against the Patriots and what happens going forward with him.
Yeah, I think when you look at Dulcich, there's going to be a question as to whether or not Waller comes back for another year. I think that if Mike McDaniel and Frank Smith are both back, that Waller will come back for one more year. I have no reason to believe he won't, but I don't know if you know differently, but I think he comes back for a year. And if he does, I think you can look at him and Dulcich as tight end 1 and 2 in a decent tight end room, and leave that position alone for another year. I think if either one of them are gone, then I think it becomes a need in the draft, which we don't really do anyways. But I think that Waller and Dulcich give you enough comfortability as a tight end room next season.
And shout out to Julian Hill, who's become a very good blocker and last week set a career high in receiving yards. So it's small victories.
Yes, it is.
Only negative I really had, well, there were 2 negatives I took away. First one, again, second week, we need wide receivers. Like, we just do not have guys winning on the outside without trickery or manipulation. And we saw why Willie Gay does not play more or did not play more this year.
Yeah, Brett, I obviously, like everybody does, I do a lot of mock drafts. And I sometimes play around with trading down, and trading kind of into those mid-20s. One thing I like this year, and this is to kind of go off tangent, which I never do. One thing I've liked is kind of the thought of trading down into the mid-20s and picking up a second-round pick next year, because I think next year is a year that we're going to very likely be looking at a quarterback, and being able to get a pick in 2027 to help do that. A prime pick will be nice. But to go back in moving down into the 20s, inside linebacker, I know we have Jordan Brooks, but I think getting a stud young player next to him is one of the most important things we can add this offseason. And if you can add a guy in there, I think Anthony Hill from Texas is one that I drafted a decent amount. Sonny Styles, he was gone right in that range. But yeah, Sonny Styles is another good one. And his name is slipping me. Jake Golday from Cincinnati is another one. I think that there are going to be a number of guys that can play that position that are just as important as some of those other needs that we're going to have. I think that and safety are to me on defense, another inside linebacker and a safety are the 2 biggest needs we have on defense.
I would say edges. I love the Chop Robinson pick. He's just hasn't been it this year, but you can really say that about all of our edges. Unfortunately, I do not think the edge class is very good.
Yeah, I said that last night. I was looking. It's funny because I was playing around with like, I mean, do you want a guy like TJ Parker? Do you want a guy like David Bailey? Like, I like them. I think they just where we're going to have to take them, I don't really feel comfortable with, and we have bigger needs.
Yep.
The problem is, and we can get to that after, the problem is you're going to probably be getting rid of Chubb.
Yes,
So
by
it's going to be
necessity.
interesting to see what they do at the edge position this offseason. So I would
Ozzy,
rather not force a first round pick without the need being there.
yep. Ozzy, we are bringing in the new year with the Haka for our first ever post game on Sunday. So on Sunday, I will be doing the Haka, and we will talk about more what's coming up on Sunday as we finish the stream. But yes, the Haka is Sunday, and you have not missed it. It is
Brett,
going
do you
down.
want me to just share what we're doing Sunday? You want to wait till the end?
Go ahead and share it. You can pull it up. We actually have a shout out to our assistant Donovan, and congrats for just graduating. But he put together our schedule. So once we pull it up, you can see what we have going on.
Where did it go? Here we go. And we love the silence.
Yep.
I don't know how to do this. Let's see.
All right. Well, anyway, today we are.
Go on, Brett.
Yeah.
Today
we have reviewed the Tampa game. We will be doing a mock draft, and we'll be talking about our rookie class. And we will be doing that momentarily. One thing we want to work on going forward, as we got it up, is our YouTube channel. We will be talking college football exclusively on YouTube tomorrow, talking about the remainder of the playoff, as well as the coaching carousel. There were 16 Power 4 coaching changes this year, which is, I don't remember there being even nearly that much.
Yeah,
So
it's been a crazy cycle.
Yep. Sunday, we will be talking about the Patriots game at the end of the game. We will be giving a grade to Mike. We will be talking about potential GM candidates, whether that's Champ Kelly or the field. I will do the Haka, and then we will be going live on Black Monday. Any changes the Dolphins announce, we will be reacting to that live in 1 week. So this is what we have going on. Busy week of content coming. And like I said, one thing we are definitely going to focus on is adding more YouTube exclusive content, which is, again, going to be recorded. So, Jordan, do you want to move to grading the rookies, or do you want to talk about the Patriots?
Let's talk about the Patriots first.
Okay.
I mean, look, they're a good team. It's the last week of the season. I think you just want to continue carrying over the momentum that you saw this last week against the Bucs. Like you kind of alluded to, I think playing well in a loss is the thing you most want to see. Obviously, a division game against a great team you want to win. But for me, I look to see the young guys that showed a little progress. Andrew Meyer, Theo Weiss, Quinn Ewers. I think Jalen Wright has kind of come on a little bit at the end of the season.
Yeah, and I'll eat on that one because I was not a Jalen Wright fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that Jason Marshall, you look at guys all across the board. You want to see those guys continue to play well for one more week. Most of all, get everybody out healthy and into the offseason strong and continue to grow this thing forward and let the organization make a decision as to the future of McDaniel after that.
Yep. I was hoping that the playoffs would be a little clearer. It looks like the Patriots will have a chance to get home field with us, so I don't think they're going to be sitting anybody. Drake May is is either the MVP this year or he's finishing second. I think Quinn Ewers is going to have a bit of a rough time with Mike Vrabel's defense. Vrabel traditionally does tend to give the Dolphins quarterbacks a tough time.
Yes, he does.
So you just want to see the growth. Honestly, let Brewer sit out. He's got nothing. Give Meyer another game. I would sit Jordan Brooks if the hammy's even close. Sit Minka.
Brett, you know what part of the problem for me is, though? Stephen Ross is so reactionary, I feel like, that I almost feel like the fate of some of these guys is dependent on this meaningless game. Like, I feel like if we look good against the 1 seed Patriots, that they'll be like, oh, yeah, we finished the season strong. We're going to run it back. And if we get our brakes beat off and it's embarrassing, then that could be the firing. It's one of the reasons that you and I are waiting until after the game on Sunday to do it. But I don't think that that's how the organization should be run. And I don't think it should be based on the fact on a meaningless game in January.
Unless he has an incentive to lead the league in tackles, I don't know if it's worth it. From Carpet Dinosaur, I guess Gus Adam Gay said we are hiring a GM from the Rams.
I think he's just.
Well, if he is, you never know. They have a special relationship. But if we are, I will say this: hiring anybody from the Rams to run your draft and your front office is never a bad thing. I'm in Pennsylvania. Get him on a call, and I will tell him to his face, just sit it out. You get the big contract next time. You're up for an extension. I would definitely tell him that. But yeah, I don't expect a win. Like I said, I'm still just going based off of seeing what Quinn looks like, see how some of the other guys look at, and then we can have the immediate thoughts. Because season, even for Mike, has been a roller coaster where we were both off, then we were both back on, and we're both off. Then it looked good. Then we had the 2 weeks where things fell apart in the third quarter. So, yeah, that's why we're waiting to talk about Mike and Mike's future in the GMs till Sunday, just because it's all too reactionary and we want to have the full picture. And, yes, one game doesn't sound like a lot, but to me, I just want to have the whole 17 games to look at, and I think you do too.
I agree.
So, I'll say the Patriots beat us 31-17.
I'll say they beat us 34-20.
Okay. So real quick, before we go into the rookies, what players who are second or third year players, not including Achane, that you would consider guys who have shown they can be maybe not building blocks, but pieces to help with what will probably be a rough year next year, if for no other reason that and by we, I mean Chris Greer, put us into a situation where we're going to have a very, very rough cap situation.
All right, so I'll go down the list. I think that obviously Patrick Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Malik Washington has shown enough to be. I don't think he's really a starting receiver long term, but I think he's a depth piece.
Return man, guy.
Return man, third or fourth guy, sure. We're talking second and third year because we're not looking at the rookies. Obviously, you have Chop there. It's going to be interesting to see. Done enough. Say it again.
Has Chop done enough for you to feel confident? Knowing that we are probably cutting Bradley Chubb.
Feeling confident in being a starter, yes. Now, if we have the opportunity to add a quarterback and we have to add a young player, and we're looking for somebody with value that it won't hurt a lot to add into a trade, Chop may be that guy for me. So he could be somebody that you move if you need to get creative. But I would also at the same time be perfectly fine with him being one of your starting edge rushers next season.
Okay.
I mean, and then if you're looking at more young guys, really that's it until you get to the rookies. And there isn't a lot there.
Yeah. Some other guys, if they're healthy, you look at maybe Storm Duck, maybe Juju Brents, but there's just flashes, but they haven't shown enough. Is Andrew Meyer a guy? Like, do we say, hey, let's see if he can play guard?
Maybe.
Okay.
Or does Aaron Brewer become expendable if you want to get something?
I think you try and extend him. I think Brewer, Brooks, and Achane getting extended are going to be the main priorities for whoever the GM is. But I think Meyer has and just because as good as Meyer was, I think you saw some of his limitations in the run game with pooling, where he's just not at Brewer's level, and that limits some of the stuff we like to do. But at the same time, and we can talk about this on Sunday and maybe Monday, if Mike gets fired, does Aaron Brewer have the same plus to the offense? Because he did struggle in Tennessee system before he came to Miami.
Yeah, I
But
think that if Mike gets fired, it changes everything because then everybody is expendable and needs to be a scheme fit and you kind of reevaluate everything top to bottom.
yep. Okay. So into the rookies, and we're just putting this strictly at draft picks. So Theo Weiss is out of this discussion. So 2025 draft for Miami: Kenneth Grant, Jonas Avenea, Jordan Phillips, Jason Marshall, Dante Trader, Ollie Gordon, Quinn Ewers, Zeke Biggers. Just going to rank them, go down from
Are we
one
ranking or are we giving them letter grades?
ranking. You can give a letter grade if you want, but we'll say best to worst. Looking at the whole picture, give a little bit of an idea. So looking at that, who was the number one rookie for the Dolphins this year?
So wait. Is it based on value of the player?
How they played, if they were an ass, plus, minus, pros, cons, how they played, not just value, just based off how you felt their season went. And if the goods outweighed the bad, future, potential, all that stuff, however you want to do it.
I mean, to me, if you're looking at the draft class and the guy that shows the most potential, like they're different because I think that Kenneth Grant, Jonas Avenaya, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers, like all four of those guys, are in a grouping that you want to see a little more, but you're kind of happy with the way they grew from beginning to end. But for me, if I'm picking a top rookie from what I've seen and I'm being reactionary in week 17, it's Quinn Ewers.
Yep, that's fine. So
it's probably Quinn Ewers.
How I did it was on the whole season. I had Jordan Phillips number one, just because he was the most consistent from start to finish. Won a lot of snaps, 8 blockers. You'd like to see him get more impact plays. He missed on some sacks. He missed on some TFLs. So I had him number one for consistency. I had Kenneth Grant second. And let's be honest, he was really bad in September and the first part of October. I don't think he gets the credit for how he played since middle of October. There have been some impact plays he doesn't get credit for. He has made some tackles for losses, got a couple sacks. Some of them are gimmies.
That's something you and I talked about with Kenneth Grant, is that what he does isn't going to show up on the.
Yeah, it doesn't show up. And
the biggest thing is that we don't need to get another defensive lineman going into next season. And that is a compliment to the way Grant, Phillips, and even Biggers played this season.
But to me with Grant, because he won a lot too, and he had some short run stuffs, quite more than people give credit for. But I think the biggest thing for Grant is he started slowly, and for some very vocal people, he is he's not Tyler Warren, and some people cannot get over that. But he had a season. As the season went on, he showed he can be a piece you can rely on in situations. You would like to see the impact plays start to rise, but I think he showed that he does have a good future. Third, I would put, again, for consistency, I'd put Dante Trader. I think he had one bad play. Yes, I am talking about you, sir. He had the Chargers play that cost us the game, but I think when he came in as the season went along, he was. I think he looked the best as the safeties outside of Minka. Then I would put Quinn. It's a small sample size, but it's the most important position, and this could raise if he has a good game against the Patriots, just because it gives you hype going into the offseason. I would put Jason Marshall second, because since he started the season rough, went on IR, but since he's come back from IR, I haven't noticed him. He got his first interception yesterday, had a really good game. It's, again, another building piece. Then I would put Zeke Biggers, just because he didn't play early, but as the season went on, he started to make some impact plays. Then Ollie Gordon, I think he just became too much of a situational player. He had a couple games where you saw the talent, but as Jalen Wright came back and emerged, you saw Ollie's usage go down to where he's just strictly a short yardage back. And I have Jonah last just because the bad was really bad. And I'm not saying he's NFL quality right now, but like you said earlier, I think the improvement he showed is enough to be encouraged that there is a player you can develop. I'm not saying he will develop. I am not saying we shouldn't go get a guard, whether through the draft or through free agency, or even, again, someone I mentioned earlier, Andrew Meyer, to compete with him to start. But again, look at where he was at the beginning of the year, where his technique was all messed up. People were flying by him left and right. He was on his ass a lot. Now, he has his hits, he has his misses, but he's not getting ragdolled all the time. So that's shown an improvement. And something to keep in mind, he started every game, didn't miss a snap. That is something to be encouraged by. And again, is he going to get better? Probably. Is he going to be where we thought he was going to be? No. Is he there now? No. But there's stuff to build on.
Yeah, I think absolutely. And I think when you look at this draft class, I think it's something to celebrate that every single player that we drafted will be on the roster next year.
And every single player got better as the season went on.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And to me, that's the biggest compliment for this draft class.
Yeah. But what I will say is I'm giving this draft class, to be kind, a C for the rookie year because it was flashes, just not enough. Like, again, Jordan Phillips was the most consistent player. Grades out well, looks well, doesn't show up on the stat sheet. It just wasn't enough impact.
I'd give it like a C+, maybe a B- C+, with the ability for in 5 years this draft class to look a lot better.
And it could, again, to go back to Quinn, if Quinn ends up building off of what he's done and becomes a starter and a good starter, that shoots the grade up even more.
Absolutely. Now, do we go from this past year's draft class to next year's draft class?
Yeah, bring it up.
All right, everybody's favorite. Again, we stick to the model. It is the best mock drafting site you will find out there. And here we go. Let me put it next to each other. As of right now, again, we are going to do no trades. As much as I love trades, we will not be doing trades. Okay. So let's first take a look at what the top 10 looks like. Oh, Dante Moore went right before us. Oops. We want to go to draft. Brett, 1 was Mendoza. This is 2 through 11. Is there anything there that really stands out to you or surprises you?
So I was always entering any mock draft going forward. If Dante Moore enters the draft, he's going top 2.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I thought the Jets moved up to 2 now, but if they're not, let me look here. I don't think Jeremiah Love's going top 10. I just don't think the need is there.
I agree.
And yeah, Dante Moore, like I said, Dante Moore, and a lot of the mock drafts have to catch up on it. He's going to be a top 2 pick.
Now, one of the beautiful things is we could do this. There you go.
Yeah, that does seem about accurate.
They have Jeremiah Love again going 9.
All right. I think that is more accurate. Don't know if the Giants will go Reuben Bain, but I can
see that being Caleb Downs.
Yeah, I do think I do think they got the teams the quarterbacks are going to right there. So I do think that's what's going to happen. Although I still think Dante Moore will, when all is said and done, be graded above Fernando Mendoza.
So, Brett, as we're on the clock here at 12, and I switch over to the players' side, how much do you value getting one of these guys, and how much do you value maybe moving down and collecting more assets?
I gotta look at the corners more. Jamard McCoy is probably the number one corner, but he's been out all year. If the draft felt like this, I would probably go corner or try to trade down. I'm not a Kedrick Falk fan. I don't like gambling on players with little production, as we've done. It just doesn't work no matter how much you like the RAS scores of them. The Miami tackle wouldn't be a bad option. So
I mean, he played right tackle in college. And that's something we need. We also need a right guard. And I think he's the type of player that'll either be a really good tackle or an elite guard.
Yeah, if the draft fell like this, I would probably. Mr. S is saying McCoy.
Mr. S takes McCoy every time.
He does take McCoy every time. So I would probably take the offensive lineman in this case.
Brett, let me give you two other names just as off the wall type situations. Mm-hmm. The first is Kenyon Sadiq.
I do like Sadiq, but I think I probably would not reach for him right now.
The second is Sonny Styles.
Those two, if we were a little lower on the draft, I would be all over. If you can trade down a couple picks, and we're not doing a trade right now, but if you can move down into the mid-teens, those would be my first two options.
But to me, if those will be your top two options, a couple spots down, why not just take them?
It's a fair point. You know what? Even with the good,
I would take either Maui Goa or Sonny Styles.
You know, to be different, let's take Sonny Styles because he's a player I really like. And it's something I've been harping on all season. I think the lack of athleticism in the back seven has came up way too much. And you just need someone else who can move east-west.
All right, here we go.
So we need size. I think AJ Harris is out. Like, I know they have him at corner, but he's already entered the transfer portal, so he's not in the draft. Again, another player you always take. So no, we are not taking.
And I will say, I always take Elijah Surratt.
Elijah Surratt is good.
I am as much on him and Cooper and D'Angelo Pond and Aiden Fisher and Mendoza and all of the Indiana draft prospects.
Yeah. If the draft felt like this, I think a lot of Dolphin fans are going to be scared away from South Carolina corners. I know Broshmo, who we had on, like Brandon Sis, don't know enough about him. Draft felt like this, I would probably take Chris Brazzell. Big wide receiver, 6'5", good route runner. I would do that. I do like Denai Dennis Sutton, another guy who can block punt, block kicks, special teams value. We do need to come out with an edge early. I know Mr. S also harps on getting a cornerback early, but I think we also showed this year you can kind of cobble together a mash unit to be good. So I'm not as worried about corner here. I would probably go Brazzell.
Here are the guys that I like. I would happily go Denai Dennis Sutton. I think that there's a drop-off. If we look at this edge class, I think that there's a little bit of a drop-off after him here. I would go Brazzell. I would go Jennings Dunker. I know you know that I'm a huge fan of his. I would go AJ Halsey. Trevor Gooseby is a guy that I liked, that I know Bro Schmo liked when we had him on.
He's a guy I think he said he had a higher up in the draft.
Yeah, but I think that he played mostly left tackle and is new to football. So I'd be worried about us trying to get him to change positions and play right away. So for me, I'd go Dennis Sutton, who I'm very high on. I would go Dunker. I would go Halsey. I would go Brazzell.
Yeah. More I think about it again, because something we did talk about, this edge class is not very good. So let's go Dennis Sutton. And he is not like Chop. He is a bigger guy who can kick inside, and he has that, like I said, special teams value. He blocked 3 kicks this year.
And we are on the clock at
76
and 1 pick away. To be fair, we would have 100% taken him, as we do in every one of our mocks.
Yep. So player, pull up wide receiver. I would go with Surratt's teammate, Omar Cooper. He's going to be back for the Rose Bowl. He's not the tall receiver he's not the tallest. He's only 6 foot.
Oh, crap. That's the one thing I hate about the Max, Brett. I think I'm going to have
All right, we're starting over, guys, and you got to sign it.
I'm going to give you a little workaround.
Yep. But I do like Skylar Bell, too. I saw him pop up there, too. I think he's very underrated. He was in consensus All-American. I think he's the first one from UConn they've had. He's a big guy. I think he's 6'3". He's a guy at day 2 I would definitely look at. Maybe ideally round 4, but he's going to be starting in the NFL.
Brett, who did we take in the second round?
Dennis Sutton.
Okay. I can share our screen. Wait, can I only share I can't share in Safari? Oh, Brett, this is a disaster.
Happens.
Grandpa is right. These Macs aren't making it easy for me. Hold on, people. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way. Well, Brett, do you want to pull up a mock?
Do I want to pull it?
Yeah.
If you give me a second. Hold on.
People, I have a Mac, and apparently I can't share to Safari. Stick to the model only lets you use it once a day. And so I used the Chrome, and now I went to use the Safari, and here we go. Now we're waiting on Brett to save me. And
I'm just getting it to it so that we can do that. So bear with me.
Hold on, Mr. S might have just given me a workaround. I love our fans that are so warm and welcoming over our.
Yeah, I do have it ready. If
I'm up.
Okay,
I'm back. All right, here we go. We're sharing it, people. And here we go. I am going to get us back to where we were. We took Sonny Styles in the first. We took
Dennis Sutton in the second. And I do think Dennis Sutton is a guy who could sneak into round 1, especially with this.
Absolutely. And he didn't go last time. But Max, I don't know how to say his last name there, is a guy that I think if this group is back, being Butch Berry and Mike McDaniel and Frank Smith, I think this is a guy they're going to rate very highly. He's a right tackle guy who's extremely athletic. So I think he's a guy that I could really see them taking there.
Yeah, Michael Trigg, who went to pick up before us, another guy I could see us liking as a tight end.
Absolutely. But looking at that, D'Angelo Pons, he's small, but he's a physical corner, a South Florida kid. And I mean, covers the number 1 receiver, covered Jeremiah Smith in the Big Ten championship, and is a tough kid, just on the smaller side.
Yeah. With how this draft fell, though, I think now that it's redone, I would probably take him because I do think there's a huge drop off at corner. Davis Igbunson is a guy a lot of people like. Like I've said a lot this season. He was a penalty machine last year. He cut down on those a lot, but I'm still worried about that. That means you
I am not taking another Igbo.
So I would take D'Angelo Ponce here.
Me too.
Oh, so now go ahead and look at wide receiver again, because I do think we come out. It's going to be early, but no, Deion Burke's too small, 5'9".
Yeah, I'm just clicking on guys. Isaiah Strong, I don't hate.
Don't hate him. I do, like I said, I do like Skylar Bell. Nick Harbor, unfortunately, went back to school. These are almost back to back. I would take either Bell or Strong to get the size. I'm not going to take another. I don't think people want to take another Rutgers receiver after Leonte Carew. It's going to be looked at as a reach, but I would definitely go Chris Bell at wide receiver. And I think we have to come out with a big wide receiver.
I agree. I also don't hate Zakee Whitley here, or Wheatley.
Or Skylar Bell, excuse me.
I think it would just be very early.
Yeah.
What about Stowers?
I do like Stowers. I was going to say, well, yeah, take Stowers here because it's more better value. I think he definitely fits the flex tight end. And then
we're up again.
Yeah. And then you just go get the big wide receiver. So I would do Skylar. I would do Skylar Bell. It's looked at as a reach, but I just think I just am that big of a fan of him. So I would definitely go Skylar Bell.
Done. All right. 113. I think here you have to go with the safety.
Hey, Mr. S, you draft the same people every mock. Shush.
I'd go safety. I'd take somebody like Zakee Whitley.
He wasn't there, Mr. S.
What do you think, Brett?
Yes, Zakee Whitley, he did have a bit of a down year, but he's very –
You're the offensive linemen that are there.
I wouldn't go Shelton. He had a down year. So, yeah, Wheatley works.
Looking for him.
So if we didn't just do since Mr. S keeps wanting to argue, if we didn't just do 4 mocks that had Slaughter drafted by us, I would be more willing to talk about drafting Slaughter.
All right, Brett, we're at that point in the draft. We're picking at 151, and I'm going to throw out a name of a guy that I really like in this range.
Okay.
His name is Sawyer Robertson.
Sure. I don't really watch a lot of Baylor. If you want a corner to grab, Jacob Rodriguez you can go with. We did just draft a linebacker. And again, Mr. S, when we draft him every single time, did you just draft Jacob Rodriguez?
I did.
As I'm saying, we draft the same people every draft. So you're trying to get different. You just go and draft someone we draft every draft.
But you know what the beautiful part about this is?
Mm-hmm.
I can go like that.
Yes.
So
yes, Jacob Rodriguez is great, but we are trying to look at it through a different lens. I know a lot of people like Taylor Green. Who did you draft this time?
Sawyer Robertson.
Okay.
Brett, we should have a
I'm about to kick Mr. S from this chat because he's being a dingus.
We should have a night where we drink a bit and come and do mock draft after mock draft.
Yeah.
Let's look at what we have so far. We're in the 7th round. Brett, what are you thinking here?
At this point, you just go with someone. You just grab who you want to develop. I honestly don't care. Do not draft a Brett like Mr. S says. The only one available would be Brett Northfleet, and we already drafted a tight end.
We do kind of need another edge.
Yeah, we can look at edge.
You want to take the Virginia kid? You want to take the Texas kid? I like the Virginia kid.
I think we've taken enough guys. Oh, no, Caden Curry. Take Caden Curry. He actually had a really good year from Ohio State.
Done. And I will send this over to Mr. S so Mr. S can post it. Again, remember the point is not to draft the same people over and over. Draft is the point is to look at different possibilities.
Look at needs, get more names out there. And that's what we went by, with how the draft fell. And like Bro Schmo said on our show last week, probably not getting one of the top 2 wide receivers. So you go there. Sonny Styles might be a little bit of a reach, but I do think getting a playmaker on defense is important. Is it the sexiest draft? No, but I do think if you walk away, you are getting contributors.
I agree with that. And I also think that this is the type of class, if we move down a couple spots, you could see us end up with.
Yes. But yeah, I think you got contributors in that. And again, I think as we're seeing, we need more strength on the edge than I didn't Sutton gets. Say you need someone who's athletic, goes east-west. I think Styles hits that. The draft just didn't fall to get a wide receiver early, but you can find receivers so much. It's a good point. Sonny Styles is good, but our Twitter admin, unfortunately, has been crying nonstop about every pick we make. So,
and he's crying if we don't make the same pick he makes every time.
Yes. So we'll do more of these. There's still a lot of time for drafts, so we will become very familiar with a lot of these picks, and we will, of course, share this on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
And I will say as a final note, though, because I know we're about to close out here, Sunday's the last game of the Dolphins season. No matter how you felt about this group of Miami Dolphins players, coaches, whatever, this is the last time this group is ever going to play like this. So I hope that everybody does enjoy watching this team play one more time and block off what you're doing to watch them, because we only get a certain amount of these every year, and this is the last one this time.
Yeah, and maybe again we can end. We did it before. Maybe we can ruin the Patriots' chance of getting home field, which some traditions should never die, and that's a good one to have. But before we close out again, just a reminder, we will be doing a YouTube exclusive show tomorrow covering the rest of the college playoff, as well as the coaching carousel. We will be going live Sunday after the game, review the whole season, talk about Mike's future, because we do want to get that out before Black Monday, talk about what we do at GM. And yes, I will do the long-awaited Haka for everybody, so you can finally get that. And then Monday, we will do the Black Monday reaction as well. So, I understand what I want to say, but yeah, it's a fair point. And draft's going to be different. We got to look at it through a different eye. You just got to get good players. At this point, I think we're at that point where we just need to get good players.
I agree.
So, all right, be on the lookout for us on YouTube tomorrow. List Fins podcast on YouTube. We will also tweet out the link once the video is up. We will be covering and grading tomorrow, like I said, all 16 Power 4 conference head coaching changes and preview the bowl games for the playoff. Jordan, I believe you are going to be at one of these games.
Yes, I am. And I will let people guess based off of geographical location which one I will be at.
Yep. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. As Mr. S said, please join us in Discord. There was great conversation, discussion, and you can give whatever opinion you want because the Lord knows we all have good ones and we all have some shitty ones.
Yes,
and we would love to hear more of it with you guys. We are enjoying growing this community. And like I said, we have a busy week. And we will see you live in the new year. So hope everybody enjoys their New Year's Eve and be safe.
Absolutely, guys. Have a great one. Thanks for joining us.